It's been a pleasure sitting here listening to you. I feel good about the world because I see things from Dunkin' Donuts to all kinds of sandwiches and the computers. It's going on. Believe it or not, I almost have more faith in business than I have in the church, or politics, or almost anything else I do. And the reason is that there is more freedom and there's more courage in our free enterprise system. There's the capacity to rise from all kinds of need and to imagine and to create glory in the midst of darkness and clouds. And I have some idea about the amount of time you spend awake at night anxious, because I'm doing the same sort of thing, except that I got the other end of the free enterprise. My enterprise has to be free because way back, my parents and friends all along the way have said, you're blessed and you owe the world your life. To those to whom much has been given, of them is much required. And you've been blessed. And it was in a segregated society. But I found that segregation made it absolutely necessary for me to stay cool. My daddy used to say, don't get mad, get smart. If you lose your temper in a fight, you're going to lose the fight. You're little. He was 5'4". He said, you probably won't get more than 5, 6, or 7. So you won't be able to beat up anybody. And you can outrun a lot of people, but you won't feel good about running from trouble. And he said, the only way you can survive is to use your mind. And to use your mind, you have to keep it from getting clouded with blood. When you get angry, blood rushes to your head, and it cuts off your thought processes, and you're bound to do something stupid that you'll regret. And having to learn that before kindergarten, I was very well prepared. When I went to Thomasville and Beachton, Georgia, to run a voter registration drive in 1954. And the Klan came out and wanted to stop us. I thought that I could scheme up on some way to deal with them, but long story short, I ended up going to the mayor. And the mayor ended up calling Sunnyland Packing Company and Flowers Bakery on the phone. And they decided there that the Klan had the right to march, had the right to meet on the courthouse steps, but they didn't have the right to go in our neighborhoods and intimidate us. And that's when I realized where the power in our society is. It's in the hands of the employers, the job creators. And so when I went to Birmingham with Martin Luther King, he said, I don't want you to go to jail. You find some white folks that you can talk to and see if you can help them to understand why we have to desegregate this city. Well, it wasn't that hard to go to the Episcopal bishop and have him pick up the phone and call 2 or 3 friends. And we started, while people were marching, we would go sit down and get cussed out and blamed for everything that's going on. And we did this day in and day out for about 90 days. But that was also 90 days when nobody in the black community and many people in the white community were not shopping. So when business slowed down, people decided that they could come together. And so 100 businessmen in Birmingham, Alabama, in 1963, agreed to desegregate the entire city in spite of George Wallace, in spite of the laws of segregation. And nobody ever challenged it. And we desegregated Birmingham without an incident over a year before the Congress was able to come up with the Civil Rights Bill. And around the world, almost wherever you go to find a market, you find a need. And needs are there until markets meet those needs. And when markets meet those needs efficiently, you got profit and you've got jobs. And when the Lord asks you on Judgment Day, did you feed the hungry? Did you clothe the naked? Did you heal the sick? Did you set at liberty those who were oppressed? All of you who run successful businesses meet millions of payrolls every month. You see to it that people do have health care. They are housed. That this world is so much better place because people run the risk of business. I have 3 daughters, all of whom are successful, a lawyer, a teacher, and used to be an engineer with IBM till the children got too big and she came back to Atlanta. And then I have a son who said, Daddy, there's nobody in this family that's ever made any money. He said, you've spent $1 million on education and everybody, including you, is broke. I don't want to waste my time and your money. Somebody's got to get out here and figure out how to run a business, how to create jobs. And his mother had just died, and I said, your mother was a teacher. Surely she would want you to go to college. He said, she never asked me. And I said, well, I trust you. It's your life. My daddy wanted me to be a dentist, and I was a failure. And even when I became ambassador to the United Nations, and Thurgood Marshall said, you must be really proud to hit this boy. He said, if he'd have been a dentist, he'd have been somebody. And so I won't put that blame on my children, but it's wonderful to see 4 children grow up now with 9 grandchildren. And tomorrow, my first grandchild, great-grandchild, will be born in Washington. So I've had a blessed life, but it's interesting. My son married a Venezuelan. So one of my grandchildren says, I'm half Venezuelan. And he goes around at 6 years old talking to all of the Spanish workers and carrying on conversations like he's a grown man. And then the baby to be born tomorrow, will take my family back to Nigeria. My granddaughter married a Nigerian. And I said, you know, I've never met a dumb Nigerian. I said, I met a whole lot of slick ones, though. But whether we like it or not, our families are reaching out into the world. And they are going to live lives that we are preparing now. And so we're not preparing lives and blessings for ourselves. But the jobs that you do and the innovation that you share and the confidence and courage with which you take on the problems of the world is making this world a much better place. It's been a privilege for me to work with you. I didn't know a word I was saying, I think. They pushed me up, and somebody had to say something. And so Jeff has saved that for me, and I still want to get a copy of it. Yeah. But it's like I don't know what is going on in my life, and you probably don't know what's going on in yours. You see something that you start, but I don't believe anybody here could have imagined at the beginning of their career the opportunities and success that you have contributed to the planet on which we live. But we still have a long way to go. And I thank you, and God bless you, and let's keep on keeping on.